Hotels are supposed to be safe. Think about it. Security cameras watch every entrance. Electronic keycards record every movement. Employees work around the clock. Guests come and go at all hours. In theory, a hotel should be one of the easiest places to trace a person's final movements. But sometimes, a person walks into a hotel and somehow vanishes. Not in the middle of nowhere, not deep in a forest, not on an empty highway. Inside a crowded building filled with cameras, staff, and witnesses. Tonight's story is about a young woman who checked into a hotel and was never seen again. No one saw her leave. No camera recorded her exit. No evidence explained where she went. And years later, people are still trying to solve the mystery. Because what happened inside that hotel makes absolutely no sense. The woman was traveling alone. That wasn't unusual. She had traveled by herself before. Friends described her as smart, independent, and careful. The type of person who always kept family updated on her plans. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't impulsive. And she wasn't the kind of person who would simply disappear without telling anyone. On the day she arrived, everything appeared normal. Security footage captured her entering the hotel lobby. She approached the front desk, checked in, received her room key, and exchanged a few friendly words with staff. Nothing seemed unusual. Nothing appeared threatening. If you had watched the footage that day, you would have seen an ordinary traveler beginning an ordinary stay. Nothing more. But that normal appearance would later become one of the most unsettling parts of the case, because there was no warning, no sign of fear, no indication that anything was about to go wrong. Throughout the afternoon and evening, multiple people reported seeing her around the property. One witness noticed her near an elevator. Another remembered seeing her walking through a hallway. Someone else reported spotting her near the hotel's restaurant area. Each sighting painted the same picture. She appeared calm, relaxed, completely normal. Hours passed. The hotel continued operating as usual. Guests checked in. Guests checked out. Elevators moved between floors. Housekeeping cleaned rooms. Life inside the building continued uninterrupted. Meanwhile, the young woman seemingly disappeared into the routine. Just another guest among hundreds. And then, without anyone realizing it, she was gone. The next morning, people began noticing her absence. Housekeeping approached her room. They knocked. No answer. They knocked again. Still nothing. Staff initially assumed she had gone out. Travelers often leave early and return late. It was Maan's unusual. But as the day continued, concern started growing. Her phone wasn't answering. Messages went unread. Family members couldn't reach her. Friends couldn't contact her. The silence continued hour after hour. Eventually, the possibility that something was seriously wrong became impossible to ignore. Police were notified. An investigation began. And that's when the mystery truly started. Detectives immediately requested surveillance recordings. Hotels are filled with cameras. Investigators assumed the footage would quickly reveal what happened. At first, it seemed promising. The woman appeared multiple times throughout the property. Her movements could be tracked. Her timeline could be reconstructed. Everything seemed straightforward. Until investigators reached her final confirmed appearance. A camera captured her entering a section of the hotel. The image was clear. The timestamp was verified. There was no dispute. She went in. The problem was what happened next. or more accurately, what didn't happen next. No camera showed her leaving. Investigators reviewed the footage repeatedly, frame by frame, minute by minute, hour by hour. They checked every possible exit route, every available camera angle, every recorded movement. Nothing. The woman entered the area, but investigators couldn't find evidence of her exiting. That shouldn't have been possible. Yet there it was, a gap in reality, a missing piece of the puzzle, a moment where certainty simply vanished. Then, detectives examined another source of evidence: electronic keycard records. Modern hotels track almost everything. Every access attempt, every successful entry, every time a guest opens a door. The digital trail often becomes one of the most valuable tools during investigations. At first, investigators expected the records to clarify the timeline. Instead, they created even more questions. Certain entries appeared inconsistent with witness accounts. Some timestamps raised confusion. Others contradicted assumptions detectives had already made. The deeper investigators looked, the stranger everything became. Imagine being one of those detectives. You have surveillance footage, electronic records, witness statements, yet none of them fit together perfectly. Each piece of evidence seems to tell a slightly different story, and every answer creates two new questions. Days passed. Search efforts expanded. Police checked nearby streets, transportation centers, hospitals, parks, abandoned structures. Every lead investigators could think of. Nothing. No confirmed sightings, no physical evidence, no explanation. The woman seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. As media coverage grew, public fascination exploded. News outlets covered the mystery. Online forums analyzed every detail. Thousands of amateur investigators began studying the case. People searched through floor plans, examined surveillance footage, compared timelines, created diagrams, built theories. Everyone wanted to answer the same question: how does someone disappear from a hotel? Over the years, several major theories emerged. Each explained part of the mystery. None explained all of it. Theory number 1. She somehow left through an area not fully covered by surveillance. This would explain why investigators couldn't find footage of her exit. But critics point out that multiple cameras monitored the primary routes. Avoiding all of them would have required extraordinary luck or detailed knowledge of the building. Theory number 2. A technical failure occurred. Perhaps footage was lost. Perhaps records were corrupted. Perhaps a malfunction created gaps in the timeline. Possible? Certainly. But investigators found no definitive evidence proving such a failure occurred. Theory number 3. Someone intentionally helped her avoid detection. Maybe another person was involved. Maybe routes were chosen carefully. Maybe evidence was overlooked. But again, there was no proof. Only speculation. Only possibilities. And that's the problem with this case. Every theory solves one mystery while creating another. Years have passed. Technology has improved. Investigators have revisited the evidence countless times. Old footage has been reviewed again. Witness statements have been re-examined. Digital records have been analyzed with newer tools. Yet crucial questions remain unanswered. Some mysteries leave behind dramatic evidence: a confession, a witness, a weapon, a body. This mystery left behind something much more frustrating: an empty space, a missing moment, a gap in the story where no one knows what happened. And sometimes, those are the cases that haunt us the most, because our minds crave answers.
We want events to make sense. We want every story to have an ending. This one doesn't. Tonight, somewhere in that hotel, guests are probably sleeping peacefully, walking the same hallways, riding the same elevators, passing through the same corridors where this mystery unfolded. Most of them will never think twice about it. But maybe, late at night, when the hallway's quiet and distant footsteps echo beyond their door, they'll wonder about the woman who checked in and never checked out. What do you think happened? Did investigators miss a critical clue? Did she leave unnoticed? Or does the answer remain hidden somewhere inside evidence that's already been examined 1,000 times? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy true mysteries that remain unsolved, subscribe now, because the next story is even stranger. A body discovered in a closet, a timeline that doesn't add up, and questions that investigators still can't answer. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.